Poboy Special here. I wanted to share a technique with you that I found about zeroing in your AR15 for 50 meters, but doing it at 10 yards. I found it at Hilltop Firearms Training Center, and I wanted to share with you that technique that I found and the results that I got from following what they told me to do. Coming right up. Like I said, my friend Jerry over at Hilltop Firearms Training Center sent me a link to this to let me know about this video. Here's what it looks like if you're looking for it. And man, is it chock full of really good information. So I got out my head down Provectus AR15 pistol with a 7.5-inch barrel and wanted to know if that technique would work on this really short barrel on this AR platform. So let's find out. The instructions were to make 2 dots, one directly over the other. The larger dot was where you were going to aim, and the smaller dot below it was where the round is supposed to go. For their video, they chose 5 dots, all going in the horizontal position, so obviously you'll have 5 chances to sight it in, and the smaller dots below each of those 5 larger dots. You can set it up any way you want, but that's the way they chose to do it. The distance between the top dot and the smaller dot directly below it should be 1.9 inches. This was demonstrated in their video, more or less the distance between the top of your index finger to the second knuckle. So I measured out 10 yards from the target per their instructions. I do not have a rest or a gun vise or anything. All I'm doing is shooting straight off the table and using my magazine to a little stabilize it. You say yes, a rest or a vise is a whole lot better, but I say, and this is my preference, that you train the way you shoot the way you train, and that if I ever have to use this thing, I'm not going to have a bench vise or a gun vise or a rest or anything. So that's why I chose to just freehand it from the table. So here are the results. My first 2 shots were the target to the far left, and as you can see, the first 2 shots were just a little bit higher than they should have been and a little bit to the right, so we made a couple of adjustments. Tried for the center target and found that I didn't make enough of adjustment. It was still shooting a little bit higher than I needed and a little bit to the right. Shooting the target at the far right, I got my windage correct, but my elevation was still shooting just a little bit high. So only after 5 rounds of adjusting for windage and elevation, I went back to the same pattern as shooting from left to right. So I shot at the far left first, and you can see it almost dead center. I then went to the center target, had one almost dead center and one a little high and to the left, but that was probably shooter error. Then the last 2 shots were at the far right target, and you can see both of them within about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of each other, right where they need to be. So obviously this technique works and works well. It worked for me. Just follow their instructions, and now even the 7.5-inch barrel is zeroed in at 50 meters from a 10 yards in less than 5 rounds, making adjustments. So thank you to Jerry, Hilltop Firearms Training Center, for sharing this with me. And now, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like I said, just follow their instructions and you can have the same success too. Very, very special thank you to Jerry and Hilltop's Firearms Training Center for this technique and giving me this kind of success. Thank you very much to them. And as always, you saw it here on the Poboy Special Channel.